This is Chapter 4, Lesson 4, Math with Mr. P. This is 6th grade math today. We're going to be looking at multiplying mixed numbers. So let me go ahead and erase this really quick. The eyeball of an Atlantic giant squid is about 12 times as large as the average human eyeball. The average human eyeball is 1 1/4 inches across. Use the diagram to compare the average size of a human eyeball to the average size of an Atlantic giant squid's eyeball. This is the size of a human eyeball. In comparison to the giant squid, which would be all of this. This would be the size comparison. Now, the first thing we need to do in order to start even delving into this problem is identifying what a mixed number is. A mixed number, I'm going to go ahead and clear that. A mixed number is any number that has a whole number along with a fraction. So, again, a whole number attached with a fraction makes a mixed number. A mixed number has to have a whole number and a fraction. And of course, a mixed number will always have a proper fraction attached to it. Now, we need to convert our mixed number into an improper fraction in order to multiply, because when we multiply by fractions, we need other fractions to multiply with. In order to do this, we take our whole number, multiply it by the denominator. In this case, 2 times 2 will be 4. And then we take our product, or answer to our multiplication problem, and add it to our numerator, which in this case is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Add it to the 1, which would make 5. And we're going to put it over the original denominator. So 2 1/2 can be written as 5 over 2. And if we go ahead and do the reverse of this, because this is an improper fraction, we'll do 5 divided by 2. We'll go in twice. That will equal 4. When I subtract, I'll have 1 left over, 2 1/2. And that was our original mixed number. So we need to know how to convert a mixed number into an improper fraction in order to multiply. So going back to our original problem, a squid's eye is about 12 times as large as the average human eyeball. Average human eyeball is 1 1/4 inches across. So let's go ahead and write this out. 1 1/4 inch across, and the giant squid's eyeball is 12 times larger. Yes, 12 times bigger than it. There are 2 things we need to do in order to solve this problem. Number 1, we're going to refer back to lesson 2. All whole numbers are going to need to be put over 1 in order to turn it into a fraction. And then this lesson is going to talk about how to convert our mixed number into improper fractions so we can multiply. 1, our whole number, times our denominator, which is 4. That will make 4. Add it to our numerator, which is 1, which will make 5. So our new fraction will become 5, and it'll be over the original denominator, which is 4. Now, we can multiply straight across, which is fine, or we can cross simplify first. In this case, the 5 and the 1 have nothing in common because one of the numbers is 1, and they won't simplify anymore. But in this case, the 4 and the 12 can simplify. 4 and 12 both have 4 in common. If I divide 4 by 4, it becomes 1. And if I divide 12 by 4, it becomes 3. Therefore, my answer will be 5 times 3, which is 15. 1 times 1, which is 1. And any number over 1 is just that number. So my answer will be 15. And referring back to the question, a giant squid's eyeball is going to be roughly about 15 inches across. And that is how we multiply mixed numbers by either whole numbers or fractions. Moving on. So in this example, we have 2 1/2 times 1/4. It clearly states here that we change the 2 1/2 to become 5 over 2. 2 times 2, which will be 4, plus the 1 will be 5, and we put it over 2, which is how we got there. When we multiply straight across, 5 times 1 would be 5, 2 times 4 would be 8, and hence how we end up with 5/8. Example 1. Find 1/3 times 1 3/4. 1/3 times 1 3/4. Our first step here is to convert this mixed number into an improper fraction. We need to do whole number times denominator. 1 times 4 will be 4. And add it to our numerator, which is 3. So 4 plus 3 will be 7. This will become 7/4. I'm going to go ahead and also look at numbers across from each other to see if there's any cross simplification. 1 and 4, not going to happen. And 3 and 7, also not going to happen. No common factors there. Therefore, I'm just going to multiply straight across. 1 times 7 will equal 7, and 3 times 4 will equal 12. This is a proper fraction with no common factors whatsoever. Therefore, that is our answer. And that is how we solve that problem. Example number 2. 5 1/2 times 1/3. 5 1/2, and I just want to make sure that I'm being multiplied by 1/3. It is. So my 1/3 is set. It's a fraction. I'm done. The 5 1/2 needs to be converted. Whole number, denominator, add to numerator. 5 times 2 becomes 10. Add it to the 1. This will become 11/2. Cross simplification check. 11 and 3 have nothing in common. Not going to happen there. And the other number is a 1, so it's not going to be simplified anymore. It doesn't matter what the other number is. It's a 2, so it doesn't matter. Multiply straight across. 11 times 1 will be 11, and 2 times 3 will be 6. This is an improper fraction. So to simplify this, I will need to do 11 divided by 6. 6 will go into 11 one time. That will equal 6. When I subtract, I will get 5 left over, so my answer will be 1 5/6. And 5/6 is simplified. 5 and 6 have no common factors, therefore my answer is 1 5/6. And I am done. And if we look down here, 1 5/6 is right there. All right, let's go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on here so you can see these. Let's go ahead and do a pause right here and see if you guys can solve these problems, and then unpause and see if you did them correctly. So go ahead and write these questions down in your notes and go ahead and try them and come back when you're done. All right, so 2/3 times 2 1/2. 2/3 times 2 1/2. Yep, wrote it correctly. The 2 1/2 does need to change. 2 times 2 will be 4. Add it to the top, it will be 5/2. I'm going to erase all of this, and I'm going to go ahead and write my question a little bit closer so I can multiply now. Cross simplification check. 3 and 5 have nothing in common. The 2 2's. When you have the same number diagonally across from each other, you can go ahead and change them both to become 1, because both will have 2 in common. 2 divided by 2 will become 1. Now I can multiply straight across. This will become 1 times 5, which is 5, and 3 times 1, which is 3. Improper fraction. Therefore, I will need to do 5 divided by 3. 3 will go into 5 one time. That will equal 3. When I subtract, I'll get 2 left over. This will now become 1 2/3. And 2/3 have no common factors. It's simplified, and we're done. And that's our answer for example A. Example B is 3/8 times 3 1/3. 3/8 multiplied by 3 1/3. I'm I'm going to double check to make sure I wrote it correctly. I did. And again, whole number times numerator, add to denominator. I have to convert this mixed number into an improper fraction. 3 times 3 will be 9, and I'm going to add the 9 to 1. So this will become 10 over 3. And I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this over here, 10 over 3, because we want to keep the original denominator the same as it was. Cross simplification check first. Now, I told you guys you don't have to use cross simplification, but if you don't want to, this is going to be a lot harder because you're going to be multiplying 3 times 10 and then 8 times 3 and then trying to simplify that. Otherwise, you can do this. The two 3's here are going to be the same number. Therefore, they cancel out, and I get 1s instead. And then on the other side, I have 8 and I have 10. Both have 2 as a common factor. If I divide 10 by 2, it will become 5. And if I divide 8 by 2, it will become 4. Now I'm going to multiply straight across, which is going to get me 5 over 4, which is a improper fraction. 5 divided by 4. 4 will go into 5 one time, which will be 4. When I subtract it, I'll have 1 left over. My answer becomes 1 and 1/4. And that's it for that one. So let's look on further in the chapter. I'm pretty sure this is it. This is all that we're doing as far as mixed numbers go, but let's double check. To multiply two mixed numbers, write each mixed number as an improper fraction or as an improper fraction. Use the greatest common factor or GCF to simplify. Multiply two mixed numbers, write each mixed number as an improper fraction. This last sentence kind of seems a little bit off and misplaced. So I would at least don't write this in here. I feel like this is going to confuse everybody. So at least write this sentence. So you may want to pause and write this sentence in your notes. To multiply two mixed numbers, write each mixed number as an improper fraction. And then we're going to use the method that we have been talking about today to turn a mixed number into an improper fraction. Ignore that line. We're going to find 1 7/8 times 3 1/3, right in simplest form. So let's go ahead and copy down this question correctly. 1 7/8, if I remember correctly, and 3 1/3. We need to convert both of these mixed numbers into improper fractions. I'm going to go ahead and drag this a little bit over here in the middle, and we're going to rewrite our multiplication problem right down here. I'm going to use different colors for this one. Actually, I want a brighter color. Let's do, let's keep it that one. I'm going to go ahead and do 1 times 8, which is 8, and then add it to 7. I know that 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 1 more, which would be the 8, is 15. So this is going to become 8 plus 7 is 15 over 8. I'm going to multiply this by whatever this mixed number changes into. 3 times 3 is 9. Add the 9 to the 1, which will give me 10. And I'm going to put it over the original denominator, which is 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and check to see if there's any cross simplification I can do before I multiply. You don't have to do cross simplification if you don't want to. It just makes my job and your job easier. Just to simplify now makes the multiplication later on easier. So 10 and 8, and I noticed that backwards, they do have common factors of 2. 8 divided by 2 will make this 4, and 10 divided by 2 will make it 5. On the other side, 15 and 3 both have common factors of 3. If I divide 3 by 3, it becomes 1, and if I divide 15 by 3, it becomes 5. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply straight across, as always. I'm going to go ahead and do the galactic color. 5 times 5 will give me 25, and 4 times 1 will give me 4. This is an improper fraction, which I cannot leave as my answer, because if we look over here, it wants us to write it in simplest form. Now, if we check, we got 15 over 8, which is what we did have before we simplified it, and 10 over 3. They cross-simplified, so they came up with 5 over 4, which is what we have here. And they also have 5 over 1, which is what we have here. And we do have 25 over 4 right now. 25 over 4 is going to become the following. Because again, to convert a improper fraction or to simplify an improper fraction, we need to do numerator divided by denominator. 4 should go into 25 8 times. No, lies. Give me 1 second. 4 times 5 is 20. If I add it again, it's 6 times. 6 times. See, I almost made a mistake there. It'll go in 6 times. 4 times 6 being 24. If I subtract, I will have 1 left over. So this will be 6 and 1/4, which should already be simplified. And we're going to go ahead and check our answer here. It is 6 and 1/4 once we simplified it. Let's see. We have a few more examples, but this is pretty much the lesson. Let's do word problem examples because I like those. We'll do these next two, and we'll call it a day here. The Hoover Dam contains 4.5 million cubic yards of concrete. The Grand Coulee Dam in Washington State contains 2 2/3 times as much concrete. How much concrete does it contain? So we're going to take our original number, which is 4.5, because the Hoover Dam has 4.5 million cubic yards of concrete. The Grand Coulee Dam has 2 2/3 times more of that. So 4.5 times 2 2/3. 4.5 times 2 2/3. We need to convert these mixed numbers into improper fractions. 4 times 2 will be 8, plus the 1 will make it 9, so this will be 9 over 2. And then on this side, 2 times 3 will be 6. Add it to the 2, that will make it 8 over 3. And as always, we can cross simplify. I'm going to go ahead and write this one closer. 8 over 3. And I'm going to cross simplify. 8 and 2 both have 2 in common. If I divide 2 by 2, I get 1. And if I divide 8 by 2, if it'll let me erase, it will become 4. And then on the other side as well, 3 and 9 do have common factors. 3. If I divide 3 by 3, it becomes 1. And if I divide 9 by 3, it becomes 3. I now have 3 times 4 and 1 times 1. This will give me 12 over 1, or just 12. And that should be my answer. However, we need to look at the question. How much concrete does it contain? If the Hoover Dam contains 4.5 million cubic yards of concrete, and the Grand Coulee Dam in Washington State contains 2 2/3 times that, it's going to hold 12 million cubic yards of concrete in the Grand Coulee Dam. And that is exactly our answer we got here. But remember, a word problem deserves a word answer. So something like this here is what we're looking for. And our last problem for this video, Mr. Wilkins is laying bricks to make a rectangular patio. The area he is covering with bricks is 15.5 feet by 9 3/4 feet. What is the area of the patio? So we're going to find the area. When we find area, if you guys, kind of forgot as a refresher, his patio, I'm assuming by the numbers, 15.5 and 9 3/5. So let's make this the longer side and this is the shorter side. His patio is a rectangle. One side is going to be 15 and, let's double check, 1/2 feet. The other side is going to be 9 3/4 feet. The area is everything that'll fit here on his patio. So we are going to do 9 3/4 times 15 1/2. 9 3/4 times 15 1/2. Let's go ahead and rewrite these fractions. 9 times 4 will give me 36. Plus the 3 will give me 39. So this is going to become 39 over 4. Times 15 times 2 will give me 30. Plus the 1 will give me 31 over 2. And this is going to give us 0 help on this one because 2 and 39 are not going to have any common factors, and 4 and 31 I'm almost positive are not, and I know now they're not because 31 is an odd number and if all multiples of 4 should be even. Therefore, there is no cross multiplication help here. This one's going to be a fun one. So we're going to do our math that we already know. I already know what 4 times 2 is. It's going to be 8. This, on the other hand, not as easy. So let's set it up. 39 times 31. I put the 1 on the bottom because whatever number is here, I want it to be the easier one for me to multiply by. I don't want 9 there, so I'm going to have 1 there because guess what? 1 times 9 is 9, and 1 times 3 is 3. Put a 0 down. Now I'm going to multiply by the 3's. 3 times 9 is 27. So put the 7 there and carry the 2. 3 times 3 is 9, plus the 2 will be 11. This will give me 9 plus 0 is 9. 3 plus 7 is 10. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, and then 1 plus nothing. So this will be 1,209 over 8. This is quite possibly the most difficult problem we've had so far this chapter, but stay with me. This is an improper fraction, and I'm going to go ahead and move this over here. Again, feel free to pause whenever you guys need to, because I know this is a lot and I'm going a little fast, but if you need to pause, rewind, go for it. Now I have to do long division. I don't know my 1,209s off the top of my head, so I'm going to have to rely on this. 8 will not go into 1. 8 will go into 12 one time. That'll equal 8. When I subtract, I will have 4 left over. 8 won't go into 4. Bring down the 0. 8 will go into 40 5 times. 8 times 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. That will equal 40. I will have nothing left over, but I still have another number here that I'm going to bring down, and that's 9. And I'm going to go ahead and drag this over here and lift this up a little bit. 8 will go into 9 one time. That'll be 8. I'll have 1 left over. My answer should be 151 and 1/8. And going back to the original problem, we're talking about feet, and since it's area, we are going to say that Mr. Wilkins' patio is going to be 151 and 1/8 feet squared, or square feet. His patio will be 151 and 1/8 squared feet, or feet squared. And that is our answer. And that is probably the hardest one. Again, if you need to go back and pause and rewind, go for it. I know that was a lot. So to recap our lesson for today, when multiplying, you guys should be putting this in your notes. Let's go ahead and open up a Word document, and let's go ahead and type this up so you guys know what to put in your notes. When multiplying by mixed numbers, we must first convert a mixed number or numbers into improper fractions. Boom, let's get it whole screen. That is our first step. We need to make sure that we are turning all our mixed numbers into improper fractions. After that is done, we can check for cross simplification, and we can multiply numerator by numerator, and denominator by denominator. And then again, depending on our answer, if it's an improper fraction or a proper fraction, we either, improper fractions, divide numerator by denominator. Proper fractions, we just simplify by finding common factors. So that is it for today's lesson. I hope this helped. This is Mr. P as always, and I will catch you guys on the next one.